Let's make something delicious. For this easy one pot chili mac, we're going to start with 1.5 pounds of ground beef. I am using a leaner ground beef. I am using 85/15. I prefer something like that because you don't have as much grease to drain off of it. I have seasoned it just with salt and pepper and sauteed it till it's mostly brown. Now we are going to add about 1/4 of a cup of chopped onion and about 1/4 to 1/2 cup. Well, you can add 1/2 cup of onion too if you're really fond of onion. About 1/4 to 1/2 cup of bell peppers, any color you like. Or if you don't like peppers in your chili, because this is kind of the chili portion of this, then don't add peppers to it. That's all up to you. But I love peppers in my chili. If you like spicy things and you want to add some jalapeno to it, or even a can of diced green chilies, go right ahead. Now you want to saute this until your beef is fully brown and your peppers and onions are starting to get tender and your onions are getting translucent. Now our onions are translucent and our peppers are starting to get tender. So now to make this chili mac, you need some beans. Now if you don't like beans in your chili, leave them out. But I am adding a 15-ounce can of kidney beans that I have drained and rinsed. Now you want to stir those in. And now we start seasoning it up.
How many people they had to take kidneys from?
Probably a lot. Probably a lot of dang people are missing kidneys.
Then they've done organ meat.
Yep, we're into offals. Wasn't he one of the Darling boys?
I thought he was on Frozen.
Oh. That's Olaf. Now we're going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of granulated garlic, give or take a splash. And we are going to add about the same amount of cumin. Knock knock, cumin. And once again, give or take a splash. Now you got to remember, when you're making chili mac, this, if you've never had it, it's like if chili and macaroni and cheese got married and had a baby. So you don't want to put so many seasonings in that it just tastes like chili with macaroni in it. Now we are going to add anywhere from 2 to 4 teaspoons of chili powder. Now like I said, remember, you don't want to overpower it and make it just taste like chili with macaroni in it. You actually want the mac and cheese flavor to come through, so you don't want to overpower that, because that's a little more subtle. So you want to start with about 2 teaspoons and work your way up from there, because you can always add 2, but you can't take it back out. Now you want to stir in all those seasonings and you want to let them start to fry in with your meat and your veggies and your beans. And you will know they're ready when all your meat is basically turned the color of your chili powder and it's starting to smell really fragrant. Now at this point you want to add a 14.5 ounce jar, well can, of diced tomatoes. I am using home canned. And you want to stir those in really well. They will start to break down. Now if you are using home canned, the tomatoes will break down and you won't be able to find chunks of tomato in there. Now if you are using store-bought, they use a chemical in there to make them keep their shape. So you will have chunks of tomato in it. If you don't like that, use crushed tomatoes instead. And we are adding 1 cup of tomato sauce. Now you want to stir this together until everything is thoroughly mixed, and then you want to let it cook for probably about 5 minutes to let everything get all married together and the flavors to start to come out before you taste it to see if you need to add any more chili powder. Now this is cooked for about 5 minutes and I have tasted it and I felt like it needed just a tiny bit more chili powder, so I did about a half a teaspoon more, but I'm gonna leave it there because, like I said, you don't want to overpower the mac and cheese portion. So, because this is chili mac, we are adding 1 cup of milk for the mac and cheese portion. And because this is gonna cook all in one pot. Now we are going to add about 1.5 cups of elbow macaroni. Now you want to let this cook until your macaroni is completely tender and it has absorbed a lot of your juice. But before it absorbs all of the juice, you want to add your cheese, and I'll come back and show you what you do then. Okay, now your macaroni is about half done, maybe a little past half. And now you want to add your cheese. Total cheese amount, you want 1.5 cups of Monterey Jack cheese and 1.5 cups of sharp cheddar cheese. But you aren't going to add it all right here because you want some for the topping. So I'm going to add about 1 cup of each to the mix. And then we'll save 1/2 cup of each for the topping. Now at this point, you want to go ahead and turn your heat off because your macaroni will finish cooking by the heat that's in here, and you don't want it to overcook. You want it to absorb what's here, the liquid, some of the liquid. You want it to be creamy, but you want it to absorb some of the liquid that's here, but you don't want it to become basically really tight and your macaroni to overcook. So at this point, when your macaroni is about 3/4 the way done and you add your cheese, turn off the heat and let it finish on its own heat. Now it's been just a few minutes and my macaroni is nearly done. I mean, it's right at done. So now we have mixed together the remainder of our cheese and we are going to put it on top. Now, if you don't care about having cheese on top or it being pretty, then you can go ahead and just dump all the cheese in at one time. But I like the cheese on top. Your heat is still off, but you want to put a lid on it until your cheese melts and your macaroni gets fully done, which will only take about a couple of minutes. Now let's pull the lid off here and see what this looks like. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, it's going to have a little bit of looseness like chili, but it's also going to be tight like mac and cheese. It's going to have a creaminess, but yet a little bit of a soupiness. It's going to be a perfect mix of the two. See, I hope you can see that texture there. Look at that. It looks so good. It is just an absolutely wonderful one-pot meal for your family. Your family's going to love this. And remember, come back next time to Angela K's Kitchen, where I take you from gourmet to everyday and everything in between. God bless.
Look at that beautiful bite of food. I heard you guys actually want to see me eat food. I don't know why, but okay, we'll taste test it. All right. Yup. Perfect. It's a chili mac. It's macaroni and cheese. It's chili. It's everything together. It's beautiful. Outstanding. I'm excited to eat it. I'm gonna just be honest with you. It's so good. Angela K does such an amazing job. And really, truly, we don't need it for just me and Angela, but if you wanted to maybe make that as a whole, maybe serve 6 people with it, try to stretch it out a little bit further, especially. Maybe you just want to eat cornbread with it. You can make cornbread to go with it. You could do a garlic bread, a Texas toast. I mean, you could have some form of bread with that as well, and we'll make a perfect completed dish. And maybe, like I said, it maybe feed a couple more people with it. We're gonna use it for a 2-night meal for me and Angela. It's just us two, but Angela K can really cook, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the greatest cook of all time, Angela K! I like to move hold me, and like to cook it, like to cook it. She likes to cook it.